We all heard about the importance of reading books. Since we were children, our parents, our teachers, they all told us that in order to be smart, in order to be successful, we have to read. We heard about many successful people who have read hundreds and thousands of books and became very famous and very successful. They wrote books, and they were in the government, they were rulers, they were on the top of the world in what they did, and even they themselves in the books that they wrote and in the lectures they gave, they say that they are like that because of hundreds of books that they have read. So we all know that it's important to read. But when we start to read, we take a book and then we read some pages, chapter, and then we are getting bored with it and we drop it. And then we hear again about the importance, and it fills us with motivation, and we start again another book. Then we read some pages, we see that it's boring, and we leave it. In the university, I took a course about autobiographies. So I had to read many chapters of different autobiographies, and I had to write a page about what I've read in some tasks. And what I noticed between Rousseau and Franklin, without the biographical information, they all wrote in their autobiographies that they have read a lot and exactly what they have read, what helped them to become the persons that they were when they wrote this book, this autobiography, that they are very famous and very successful and people know them, and everybody is many people admire them. And then I started to write the comment for one of their autobiographies. I think it was Franklin. I started to write, and I wrote a comment to Rousseau's autobiography, and I saw that they read a lot of books, but they read different kind of books. And then I came out with this idea that it doesn't matter what books you read. Yeah, they of course they should be in a high level, but it doesn't matter what books you read. What matters is the reading itself. Franklin read a lot about rhetoric and public speaking, I think. And he read more books that we can call them self-development. He wanted to be a rhetorical person that can give speeches. So we read things in this matter. Rousseau is more in the romantic period. He read more poetries and romance and novels, and they both became. I studied them both in the same course. Out of all the people who wrote autobiographies, they are very popular among the people who wrote great autobiographies, even though they have read different kind of books. And when we start to read, when we are looking for starting this habit, we are immediately looking for people, I guess. That's what I did. So I looked for people that I admire, and I copied their book lists. And then sometimes I found out that I don't really like these books so much, even though they are praising these books. And Rousseau and Franklin give us the it's like you can take a list, you can build a list out of these books that of many books that I have read, and you can copy this list, and you can think that maybe after you read the books that Franklin have read, you will become Franklin. But it's not. I don't think you have to copy the content of the books. You have to copy the content of the books that I have read. You have to read the same content. You just have to read. And why is it important in your life? Because reading a book, the action itself, it takes self-discipline, and you should focus on one thing for a long time, and you have to start it and to fight the resistance to leave this book, because it's very boring when you start. So you have to keep reading anyway, even if you don't like it. And it's like a mini project to read a book. It's a project. It's a small project. It can take you 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. But it's something that you start and you finish. And what this action teaching you is to be self-disciplined, to be, and apart from learning, I'm not talking about the content, I'm just talking now about the actual action of reading. I think that's what I concluded out of reading this Franklin and Rousseau autobiographies. That's what I found out, because they both read different books and they both became very famous and be successful, because when they read 1,000 books, they have more time of practicing self-discipline. They have more projects of books that they finished. Like, remember, reading a book, it's like a small project, and you have to invest in it, and you have to focus, and you have to disconnect and from the area. You have to use your imagination. You have to learn by yourself. And in my opinion, this is the actual reading process. The actual reading process is what helps you to become great. And how can you think about starting a business? It's a huge project. How can you even think about starting a business if you never finished a book? Yeah, you can give me many examples of people who did it, who made it, who are successful even without studying anything or without finishing a book. And maybe it can happen. But when we see these top most successful people, they are proud of their reading list. They say it a lot of time, that that's the thing that brought them to where they are today. So I think that if you are thinking about starting a business, it's a huge project that you are going to take, so you better start by finishing a book and then read another book, and start with this thing. It's small, it's a small project, you can do it, and it's very effective. It will improve you a lot, the actual action itself.